Welcome to the It Factor. We're Jimmy and Nye, exploring a new blog post by Mr. Len Kaplan, CEO of CDML, a managed service provider in Queens, NY, offering network management, VoIP and UCaaS, cybersecurity, compliance, IaaS, cloud solutions, and Microsoft 365 and Azure solutions. If you're a small business owner or manage IT for a growing organization, this episode is for you.
It is great to be back, and today's topic is, well, it's one of the most devious things I've seen in a while. We're doing a deep dive into an analysis called MFA alerts used for callback scams, and I've got to say, this one is pretty unsettling.
I'm right there with you. Usually when we talk about phishing, you picture those really obvious scams that, dear sir, I have $10 million for you in emails.
Or almost funny, they're so bad.
Exactly. But this, what we're looking at from Mr. Kaplan's blog,
Right.
This is different. This feels terrifyingly real.
It feels real because it's built on familiarity. This isn't just a technical hack, it's a psychological one. The campaign we're looking at uses what's called cognitive overload. It mixes something totally boring, like a security alert, with just sheer financial panic.
Cognitive overload. I like that. It's like that feeling when you haven't had your coffee and 3 people are asking you questions at once.
That is a perfect analogy, actually, and that's often when they hit you, during that morning rush.
So let's paint the picture for everyone listening. Because if you see this in your inbox, I want you to spot it immediately. So imagine it's Tuesday morning. You're at your desk, you're checking messages, maybe half listening to a meeting, and an email pops up. It looks like a standard Zoom sign-in alert.
And let's just pause on that for a second. Why Zoom? I mean, think about it. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
We all use it. Seeing a Zoom notification it's completely routine.
It lowers your guard.
Right. You don't see a Zoom logo and think, danger. You just think, work.
Okay, so you open it, the layout's clean, blue logo's there. And you see that familiar 6-digit verification code.
Yeah.
The kind you get when you log in from a new computer or something.
Yeah. So right now your brain is just in, problem-solving mode. You're not spared yet. You're just thinking, oh, that's annoying. I guess I should check my account. It's a low-level stress.
But then comes the twist. And this is where the blog post really shows how malicious this scam is. Right under that boring code, the email says something like, "Hi, customer. You approved an auto debit of USD $995.99 using PayPal."
And that's the moment the trap snaps shut.
It's emotional whiplash. You go from, oh, I need to check a login to, wait, did I just spend $1,000?
Precisely. And notice that amount, $995.99. That's not random. It's just under that psychological line of $1,000. If it's at $1 million, you'd know it was fake.
Right.
But just under 1,000, that feels plausible. It's enough to trigger that fight or flight response.
So, okay, let's talk about the contradiction here. Because sitting here, talking about it calmly, it sounds kind of ridiculous. Why is Zoom sending me a PayPal receipt?
That is the crucial question. If you look at it with any logic, it makes zero sense. Zoom is for video calls. PayPal is for payments. They're completely separate.
It's like getting an email from your dentist saying you just bought a lawnmower. The two things just don't connect.
They're totally incongruent. But the attackers are betting that your panic will just steamroll your logic. They're throwing all these trusted things at you: Zoom, PayPal, MFA code, fraud alert all at once. They want you to think crisis before you have time to think scam.
They're hacking the person, not the computer.
That is the absolute core of social engineering.
Now, usually, this is where there's a shady link, right? Click here to cancel your order. But this email doesn't have one.
No, and that's the whole point of a callback scam. The email actually tells you not to click a link. It says something like, if you didn't authorize this, call our support team immediately, and then there's a phone number.
That feels, I don't know, it's so backward. We've been trained for a decade now to never, ever click the links. So when an email says, don't click, call us, it almost feels safer.
And that's the manipulation. It's building this false trust, but there's a technical reason too. Your email filters, your security software, they scan for bad links. They scan for viruses.
What a phone number.
It's just text. It's a string of harmless digits to a computer. It sails right past the technical defenses. And more importantly, the attacker wants you on the phone. They want to move you into an environment where they control everything you hear.
Wow. That is terrifying. You're stepping into a conversation that they've scripted from start to finish.
Exactly. They want to stop you thinking and get you reacting.
Okay, we have to talk about what happens on that call. But first, let's break down the red flags. The blog post lists some things that we can just take a breath, prove this is a scam.
Yes. The aha moments, the little cracks in the armor.
We mentioned the big one, Zoom, and PayPal just don't mix. But what about the sender address?
Always a classic, and so easy to miss, especially on your phone. In the example from CDML, it didn't come from a Zoom.us address. It was just some random spoofed email.
And the greeting, "Hi, customer."
Total dead giveaway. Zoom knows your name. PayPal knows your name. They're going to say, "Hi, Jane," or "Hi, John." "Hi, customer" is just lazy. It's because they're sending out thousands of these.
And here's the one that really got me. The grammar. It's almost funny.
Ah, yes, that specific phrasing.
It says, "If you didn't made this order," MADE. If you didn't made this order.
It's subtle, but it's a critical error. A company like Zoom, a multi-billion-dollar company, they have teams of writers and editors. They don't send emails with basic grammatical mistakes.
But I feel like my brain almost autocorrects it when I'm reading fast.
That's exactly the problem. The blog makes this point so well. When we're sitting here dissecting it, it seems obvious. But in that moment, when you're staring at a nearly $1,000 charge, your eyes just skim right over it.
Fear gives you tunnel vision.
Exactly. You see the threat, not the details.
So let's walk through that nightmare scenario. You miss the typo, the fear wins, you pick up your phone, you dial the number. What happens?
Okay, so now you've crossed over from a technical threat into pure social engineering. And when you call, you're not getting a robot. You get a real person, a professional scammer.
Do they?
Yeah,
Do they sound like a criminal?
not at all. And that's a huge misconception. They often sound incredibly professional, very calm, very helpful. You might even hear call center noises in the background to make it sound legit.
So you tell them, "Hey, I didn't make this charge."
And this is the key. They don't argue, they validate you. They'll say, "Oh my goodness, let me pull that up. Yes, I see that. That is definitely suspicious. We need to stop this right away."
So they're on your team. They're the hero.
Exactly. They build that rapport instantly. Once you trust them, they pivot to their solution.
Which I'm guessing is not a real solution.
No. They'll say something like, "To reverse this, we need to secure your device to make sure the hackers aren't still connected."
That sounds plausible to someone who's not in IT.
It does. And so they'll ask you to download a piece of remote access software. And they use legitimate tools like AnyDesk or TeamViewer. But now you're not giving access to your IT guy. You're giving the scammer total control of your computer.
And once they have that, it's game over.
Game over. They can open your banking apps, transfer money, steal files, anything. And the really tragic part is that the victim thinks they're helping to solve the problem.
That is just so insidious. It brings us to the bigger picture, which CDML's post really highlights. This isn't just one scam. It's part of a huge shift.
A shift towards what we call conversation-driven attacks. We're moving away from just clicking a link and getting a virus. Now the attacks require a dialogue. The hackers are becoming con artists.
The blog mentions a few other examples. One of them is called pig butchering.
Yeah, it's a grim term. But it describes a long con where an attacker builds trust over weeks or months, maybe as a romantic interest or an investment advisor. They fatten up the victim with trust before stealing everything.
And it's all based on conversation.
And then you have fake employment scams. Recruiters on LinkedIn. "We have an amazing job for you." But eventually they need you to pay for equipment from their special vendor.
And invoice rerouting. "Hey, our bank details have changed."
All of them share the same DNA. The tool changes, Zoom, Amazon, whatever, but the goal is always to move you into a private conversation that the attacker controls.
So you can't just install an antivirus and call it a day.
You can't patch a human being. And that's why CDML's approach is so important. They argue that blocking spam isn't enough.
So what's the defense strategy here?
It's layered. First, they talk about a technology called ITDR. That's Identity Threat Detection and Response.
ITDR. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. Think of it like a security camera for your login. It doesn't just check if the password is right, it checks the behavior. Is this person logging in from a strange country at 3 a.m.? Is their MFA being spammed?
So it spots weird behavior before the damage is done.
Exactly. But tech is only half of it. The other half is testing and training, and not just watching a boring video once a year. They run real-world phishing simulations. They'll send out a harmless version of this callback scam to employees to see what happens.
So they test you before the bad guys do.
Yes, it's about building muscle memory. It's better to fail a simulation and learn from it than to fail in real life and lose company money.
And they also mentioned response rules.
Which is so important. It's about giving employees permission to pause, to tell them, if you see an urgent financial alert, you will not get in trouble for taking a minute to verify it.
Giving people permission to slow down, that feels like a huge security upgrade in itself.
It is. Security only works if people understand how the attackers are trying to fool them.
Okay, let's bring this home for the listener. What are the key takeaways, the immediate advice?
Let's do the checklist. You get this Zoom PayPal email. Step 1.
Do not call the number.
That is the single most important thing. The number is the weapon. Don't touch it.
Step 2.
Do not click any links, not even unsubscribe.
Step 3.
Don't reply. Replying just tells them your email's live, and you'll get more spam. Just delete it or report it as phishing to your IT department.
Okay, and the golden rule, because sometimes you might actually be worried. How do you check if a charge is real?
This is the one thing to remember. If you're concerned about a charge on your PayPal account, open a new browser window. Manually type paypal.com into the address bar yourself.
Don't use the directions the email gave you. Drive there yourself.
That's a perfect way to put it. Log into your account the way you always do. If there's a real issue, a real alert, it will be there in your official account dashboard. If there's nothing there, the email was a lie.
It takes 10 extra seconds, and it could save you $1,000.
Or more. It engages your logical brain and breaks that panic cycle.
And this applies to everyone, right? It doesn't matter if you're on a Windows PC or a Mac using Mac OS.
Absolutely. Social engineering doesn't care about your operating system. It's hacking your decision-making process, not your hard drive.
Well, this has been a really eye-opening, if a little scary, look into this.
It has. But I think once you understand the trick, the callback strategy, it loses its power. You can see the strings.
Knowledge is the best defense.
It really is.
Till next time.
And remember, new blog posts come out every Tuesday and Thursday.
We invite you to visit https://cdml.com and subscribe to the blog so you never miss an update.
The source for today's deep dive was the article MFA Alerts Used for Callback Scams.
If you like this episode and want to help us out, please click the thumbs up button